With George, man, when you bring in George Pickens, now you have the guy that is going to give you true alpha dog mentality. Like when you watch him, he's an alpha. He runs that room. He runs that position group. And I think that that's going to be seen very clearly when he joins the team, man. I mean, we know that he's not afraid to get physical.
No more TikToks.
Well, yeah, but I like the physicality, right? When you talk about him in the run, like when he's blocking guys, and then even, I mean, we saw the clips of him. I think it was the Georgia Tech guy. He's like fighting with or whatever.
I don't think anyone knows why that fight was happening.
I don't know.
We just think
bro.
Pickens is in the right. And
yeah, it's one of the things. It's like, yo, what
I don't
are you
care.
guys fighting about?
I don't care.
Georgia
it's
Tech,
just
like.
We get to see some of that. That reminds us of old AFC North, like Steelers, Ravens type of stuff. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
look at Pickens. We love it.
For me, he was one of the guys I put in my notes. I was like, love his length. I think he's a natural hands catcher as well. That's what separates him and Claypool. I think Claypool, big speed, but not a natural hands catcher. And that's why he struggles at times with the 50-50 jump balls. I think with Pickens, he's more of a natural hands catcher. And that's why when you see him go up, man, he's going up and he's grabbing that ball out the air. Dude, I know people say, "Oh, he's a combo of Hines and Martavis." To me,
I kind of like that.
That's
I never heard
it's
that.
a Steeler thing,
That's a pretty good one.
To me, he reminds me of AJ Green. That's who he reminds me of when I watch him, bro.
That's good too.
Yeah, that's the guy he reminds me of.
Can we just throw him in the comp too?
I'm just like,
AJ Green, Hines Ward, and Martavis.
Hines and AJ. I mean, Hines and Dago Martavis is like what? But I like it. I like it. But the thing
That's not bad.
But I was like, the yak ability is there. And like I said, I also like the fact that, like I said, with the physicality, with that mentality, I did also put in my little notes that, hey, man, just continue being a playmaker and not a showman, because I did see somebody because he's like squirting the water on the guys, doing all the extra stuff. And it's like, it's cool as long as you're productive. That was the same things that we liked about Claypool. As long as the productivity is there, you roll with it. It's just when the productivity takes a dip, that's when it gets a little uncomfortable. That's when it gets a little awkward. But as long as that doesn't happen, I don't think it's an issue for George. So I was, like I said, I was definitely excited about that pick right there, man. But DeMarvin, he's the other guy, right? He answers the if Tuitt can't go, if anything, or if Cam retires in a year, or if you allow Tuitt to walk in a year, you have the guy in-house that's ready to go. And that's the dude that I'm like, yo, he answers that call. And then, like I said, with Calvin, as we just talked about, that's your third receiver, your slot guy, your true slot. And I just feel a lot better about him coming in versus the optimism around potentially trying to make Miles Boykins that third guy. It's like, bro, I don't think that he's the third receiver. I think he's more of like the outside guy if he can develop into that. But just that thought process of, oh man, we'll put him out there. I don't think that he would fit to that extent as like how Calvin could fit in this offense, man.
Whoa. What's the timeline with these receivers? You talk about not Boykin, but Austin being the third receiver. What about Pickens, though? I mean, we got Claypool, Deontay, Pickens, Austin.
Pickens is the outside guy. Pickens is going to be the one that's pushing Deontay and Claypool. I think that he's the one that's going to ultimately make Deontay a little bit more expendable when it's contract time as well, because this is a true wide receiver one outside frame six. This is 6'3", bro. That's a big body, man.
Fly too.
Yeah, 4.47. This is a big dude, big fast guy, man. So to me, I think that he's going to be pushing those outside guys, whereas Calvin, he is a true slot receiver. And when you think about your slot rush, you think of how Ray McLeod was running last year. I just think that Calvin is a more polished, better version of that.
Absolutely.
Faster version, everything. And so you're talking about Calvin competing against Gunner, competing against, trying to think.
I guess it would be Boykin right now.
Yeah.
We don't have any other receivers. Cody White.
Anthony Miller types, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You throw him in there in terms of like that would fit that mold. I just think that Calvin fits it the best.
Yeah, we went from just having Deontay and Claypool, which isn't bad for your top two.
Yeah.
And then having no depth behind them, really.
Yeah, man. Now we loaded, bro.
Holy hell.
We loaded in there, man.
Who's getting cut?
Yeah. No, like it's thick in that thing, man. So I'm definitely liking that a lot, man. But yeah, dude. Let's go.
Yeah, after those 4 rounds, I was satisfied. Yeah. I'm like, wow, this is a hell of a draft.
Everything else house money, man. You got me an LB late in the draft. Shout out. Y'all know how we like our LBs around here, baby. So I definitely like that, man. Talk a little bit about because George Pickens, man. He's obviously the big body, speedy receiver out of Georgia, man. How do you see, his role potentially being this year, man? Do you think that he's one of those guys that can come in and play right away, or you think it's going to take a little bit more time for him to crack that roster or crack that lineup with Claypool and Deontay out there already?
I think he's one of those guys that's a guy. Like, I think that's a real good play. Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that's a guy.
Hey, this is my room.
He got that it. He got that rock star to him to where you can see he's a player. He's got good size. He's got good height. He goes and gets it. He can go take the deep ball. I think he comes in. It's kind of funny that Claypool is the one that called the kick out.
Don't you do that. Don't you do it. Don't you do that, TG. Don't you start that. Don't you start that.
It was kind of interesting thing.
How ironic.
The irony that he would pick and it would be that person. Because I know Claypool's coming up at the end of his contract as well.
Yeah, he got what, two years left on his?
Yeah, 2 more.
I believe it's just a year left on his.
Oh man, see, that's how it gets spicy right there. He said, "Hey, you, Claypool, you go out there and announce this one. That's the one we want you to go ahead. Yeah,
you go call
that's that one.
Can you tap her on the shoulder for me? Like,
nah, man, that's funny right there, man.
Could be like a Martavis type of emergence,
I started to think that, yeah.
Where you don't really see him for the first 5 or 6 weeks, but then you hit a point where you're like, we just got to see what this guy can do.
Like, who is this guy playing?
And Martavis, he had like eight or 9 touchdowns.
Tate went from like quiet to just, he on top of the world, rock star.
I think you see this. I think you see this kid get in the game a little bit quicker than that. Like, you're gonna see him.
Yeah,
you're gonna, especially in our world today, like all the spread offenses and whatnot. You're just gonna see him get in the game. It's not gonna be one of them things where you don't see him for a little bit. We're gonna know what he is and who he is and what he can do.
Yeah, because to me, man, I think that he's definitely super talented. I mean, he looks like he could be a wide receiver 1. Obviously, we know he missed some time last season because of the ACL injury that he was coming back from. But I just think that this dude, man, he's going to be a player. The further removed he is from that ACL, the better he is going to be in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a good player. Mm-hmm. I think he can go. He's got that dog in him. I think that's it. I think they hit up. One thing they do is they pick good receivers. Yeah,
we would literally just talk about that.
Mm-hmm. They pick good receivers. I think this is a real good pick of receivers. So I think he hit right there. I think that's a home run pick.
Now, I also like the fact that, he do got a little bit of that nastiness in him as well. Were you concerned at any point with this pick, or are you concerned? We know he beating up Georgia Tech players. I seen him squirt a little water on a guy. Got to keep just a little bit, But does any of that concern you?
I remember seeing that happen. Like, I've seen that happen live. I remember that. Watching that. But, no, I don't think it's concerned. I think he's going to the perfect place. I think Coach Tomlin the perfect one to deal with that in a sense, or handle that. So
he said he'd rather say whoa than sickle. That's where
I think it's a good pick. I think that's a steal.
Yeah.
To get that in the second round, like, he's really he arguably was the best receiver in the draft. Mm-hmm. Well, I've seen that argument. And if not, you can't say, like, that's not a steal in the second round with all the receivers that were going so quick. That's a great pickup. That's a great pick. You got somebody for the future. You got somebody for Pickens to grow with. So it's exciting. And Pickett, I'm sorry. You got somebody for him to grow with. So it's exciting, Like, that could be the combination for a minute, So I thought it was a real good pick. I thought the Steelers, to me, they had the top 3 draft in the league.